Hi there! I'm going to take you back to the year 1961 and one of the greatest rock shows Elvis ever gave.
Well, I heard the news. That's good to rockin' tonight. Well, I heard the news. That's good to rockin' tonight.
Hi there! Welcome to another episode of Your Elvis Guide. Today, we're going back to the year 1961 to Honolulu in Hawaii exactly, and we're going to take an in-depth look to the benefit concert for the USS Arizona that Elvis gave on March 25, 1961. First, let me tell you a little bit about how the 60s started for Elvis. Elvis had been in Germany for the past 2 years in 1960. He'd been serving in the US Army, and well, he didn't have any possibility to record an album. The last album he did record was in June of 1958, and that's King Creole. So the Colonel, Elvis' manager, did a magnificent job keeping Elvis in the charts and in the spotlights. They produced albums, A Date with Elvis, and for LP fans only, two 1959 records that were a mixture of tracks, leftovers and old Sun recordings. But they kept Elvis alive basically, they kept him in show business. So by April of 1960, when Elvis became a private citizen again, he hadn't been away at all. Frank Sinatra invited Elvis to his Timex show. And from then on, the train literally kept running full speed. Elvis went to the studio, recorded an album, Elvis Is Back. And they had, well, his debut single after the Army, Stuck on You, went to the #1 spot. Then he had a smash hit with It's Now or Never, which became his biggest selling single in the United States. So Elvis was literally back. The single Are You Lonesome Tonight, also a #1 hit, also a smash hit. And to top it off, he had a massive hit with Surrender. And so that's 4 #1 hits in a row. And by that time, we had reached 1961. And in December of 1960, the Colonel read in a Los Angeles newspaper an article about the USS Arizona. The US Marine, was collecting money to raise a memorial for the crew that died on that ship with the attack, with the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in the Second World War. The Colonel must have seen a PR possibility. In his strategy, Elvis was no longer a teen idol or a rocker. No, he was a family entertainer. So Elvis should focus on movies and should be the all-American family man. Although Elvis did loads and loads of charities. So the Colonel contacted a memorial commission and a deal was made. Elvis was going to do a benefit concert in the Bloch Arena in Honolulu, Hawaii, and all funds should go to the memorial. And it even, the colonel, smart as he was, he tried to sell the television rights to one of the main American broadcast organizations. But it's really a shame that probably the asking price was far too high, because the colonel by then knew that Elvis was worth big money, and well, they wouldn't buy the rights, so we don't have any footage of that concert, which is such a shame. But what we do have is some great audio. We can only be so grateful that a soundtrack of that concert has survived. And it's not the best audio, but it's one of the highlights of rock and roll. Elvis proved he still could play some very good rock and roll. And it was a marvelous concert if you hear it. It's full electricity and adrenaline, and it was like he was a predator. You could hear that he entertained and he teased the audience and he played with the audience, and it's all there. You can hear it, and well, you can hear the girls screaming again like it was 1956. So the concert was first released in 1980 on the silver box, but then it was full of audio issues. And somewhat more recently, the Memphis recording service re-released the audio on this set, Such a Night, and it's a great set. It's really value for money, and the audio you hear in my video is taken from this set.
Thank you.
Go cow, you say that we are
till the day I die. Now and then there's a cool sunshine. Now and then there's a cool now and then there's a cool.
The date March 25, 1961 wasn't picked accidentally. No, because Elvis in the same week would start shooting Blue Hawaii. So he had to be there anyway. How clever. He only had to fly in some musicians. But it wasn't his first Hawaiian concert. Elvis had a special relationship with Hawaii all through his career.
Part of the service. Welcome to paradise. Hawaiian style.
He went there to do concerts, but he went there to have a holiday as well. And I think every concert he gave there was a special occasion. He went there in 1957, wearing his gold lame suit. He came back in 1961 to the Bloch Arena. In the 60s, he filmed Blue Hawaii, Girls, 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 and Paradise Hawaiian style on the islands. And in the fall of 1968, and both in spring and fall in 1969, he went to Hawaii with his tiny family. Lisa Marie was only probably 2 years old. And so he had a little family holiday on Hawaii. And then in the 70s, of course, there is this legendary January 14 Aloha from Hawaii concert. But only a few months earlier, in October of 1972, he gave a rehearsal concert, or several rehearsal concerts, in the Honolulu International Center. And then, in April 1977, he spent time on Hawaii again, going on holiday with family and friends. Okay, back to the concert again. The great thing about the Hawaii 61 concert is that Elvis played both his hits of the 50s with great passion, but he also played his more recent material, the more recent material he recorded. He played songs from the album Elvis Is Back. It was like he was preparing to go touring again. And boy, what would that be great if Elvis would have toured all the way through the 60s. They negotiated a 1962 deal where Elvis would basically tour coast to coast and do all his great hits. Well, how great would it have been? You know, RCA would have sponsored the record label. RCA would have sponsored that tour, and Elvis would go from town to town and do his greatest hits. But he also had a contract which made him do 3 movies a year. So there basically wasn't any time to tour left. Apart from that, he also had to record albums. So he was fully booked. And since it was a long year contract, And, well, also RCA, the record company, didn't get enough assurances to go for the deal and sponsor such a tour. It was all blown off, and Elvis wouldn't tour again until 1970. Okay, let's listen to another song from the concert, and this time it's a blues song Elvis must have loved. He probably played the song when he was in his very early days, but he did the song in 1956 on December 4 with the $1 Million Quartet, and then he recorded it in 1960, and he did it all through the 70s in his live shows. The song popped up now and then. He did it even on Madison Square Garden in his famous 1972 concert. But Reconsider Baby, this version is especially great. And Boots Randolph played sax. Here you can feel the great musician he is and the quality of the band that was on stage.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to do a blues song for you, ladies and gentlemen, from my album. It was released, or escaped, rather, after I first got out of the Army. It's a blues song called Reconsider Baby. separates us. Well, I'm gonna let you go ahead home, baby. Where did you come back home, baby?
Well, the show has so much brilliance in it, but one of the key brilliant moments was when Elvis did I Need Your Love Tonight, his 1959 single. And I Need Your Love Tonight would have been a massive, massive show hit had he continued to do that. You can hear the audience, you can feel that the entire Honolulu concert is lifted to a different planet. And, well, that's entertainment.
Thank you very much. I'm about to hot to death up here. Oh, I love you so, I can't let you go. And don't tell me no, I need your love tonight. Oh, the way you kiss, sweetie, too good to miss. So I'll wait. I want more of this, I need your love tonight. I've been waiting just for a night, do some love and hold it tight. Tell me, baby, you gotta go, I got to hide behind the light. Hear what I say, you better stay, pow, pow. Don't run away, I need your love tonight. Hey, come on. Sweetie, too good to miss. Well, I want more of this, I need your love tonight. I've been waiting just for tonight to do some loving and hold you tight. So tell me, baby, you gotta go, I got to hide behind the light down low. Hear what I say, you better stay. Don't run away, I need your love tonight. I need your love tonight. I need your love tonight. I need your love tonight.
Well, if you hear this, you can imagine what it would have been like if Elvis did tour the stadiums. The Beatles toured in the 60s, and how the crowds would react on Elvis back from the army, 4 new #1 singles in his pocket, and, well, rocking it off, taking off where he basically left the stage for a while. It all didn't happen. Elvis stayed in Hawaii and filmed his new movie, Blue Hawaii, which became a smash hit, and it told the Colonel that his choice was right. Elvis had become family entertainment, not just for teens, so no spectacular rock and roll, but just, well, like his album title from 1961 said, there would be on an album something for everybody. Hawaii 1961 concert, to echo that great entertainer Elvis was in the 50s and could have been in the 60s. And of course, He was all back in 1968 and he did fabulous shows in the 70s as well. But boy, would we have liked to see more of shows like Hawaii 61 all through the 60s. I think life would be different. This is it for now. I hope you enjoy the show. I hope you share my videos and that you subscribe to my videos. I wish you all the best until next week with another episode of Your Elvis Guide. Bye.
Elvis has left the building. I've told you absolutely straight up to this point, you know that he has left the building. He left the stage and went out the back with the policeman, and he is now gone from the building.